Hey, what's up, everybody? One of those rare videos where I gotta come here and say, yo, yeah, I misread that. That wasn't a 3, it was an 8. Russell Westbrook had 8 turnovers, not 3. I came in on the previous video and told all of you guys that he kept his turnovers down because I misread what I saw. Yeah. So, that changes everything. Almost makes me want to delete the video, to be completely honest with you, but I'll leave it up there because it's kind of funny seeing me wrong. I like doing that. You'll see a lot of those videos if you go back many moons. Yeah, I've been wrong a lot. I've done this kind of thing before too, so that's not new. I hope that you will learn to accept that about me as I continue to grow to be better at that, or better at not doing that rather. But whatever. Either way, look, Russie, just like myself, we got to work on our mistakes. We have to work on our mistakes. We can't turn the ball over. I can't mistake an 8-4-3. Now, maybe I need to get my eyes checked. I do not have 20/20 vision. But I looked at those stats pretty good. I did. I looked at everybody's stats before making the video, but is it possible that I didn't make the mistake? That maybe it was a typo? I was pretty damn certain that was a 3. But an 8 can look like a 3 if you're squinting and you have bad eyesight. I don't know, but I was pretty damn certain that was a 3. And whatever the situation, he did have a triple-double. Got to give him his credit for ultimately continuing to pile up stats, and ultimately we won the game in overtime. So you gotta take the good with the bad, as Shannon Sharp said. But I just was not accurate at all in my assessment of how he played based on what I was concerned about and being kind of at peace with it as opposed to further frustrated like I should have been. But I didn't get the chance to see the game itself. You guys know I watched the highlights, and the highlights didn't really tell me everything I needed to know. They never do. But it is what it is, man. I'm not paying no cable bill, and I'm certainly not paying for a league pass this year. Nah, that money's in crypto and other things, obviously. So, as you guys know, man, I'm going to continue to come up here and always tell you when I'm wrong, because it doesn't bother me to do so, just like I'm not afraid to come up here and give myself a pat on the back when I make good predictions and things of that nature, which does happen sometimes too. So, take the good with the bad with me, just like I got to take the good with the bad with Russell Westbrook, because, man, I am looking at the turnovers and I'm just saying, I want us to use him differently. I do. I want the Lakers to use him differently. We've talked about this on this channel, but I just think we need to have unique ways of finding ways of making the best, getting the best out of this player. He's obviously best with the ball in his hands, but he's obviously turning the ball over too much for our liking, making these games closer than they have to be. And our team is old. We can't afford to not have blowout games that allow us to sit, y'all. We ain't gonna make it through the season if every game we play is close, especially if we're tacking on an extra 5 minutes in OT. This is happening too much, and it doesn't work in our favor. Russell Westbrook can play a lot of basketball. You won't see him get tired through 2 overtimes in regulation. You're not. He can play straight through that. That's just how he's built. Not everybody else is on this team, and you just don't want to see us turning the ball over as much as we do. Possessions are so very important, and I just see that he is too cavalier with the basketball, man. Regardless of whether he's making mistakes in passing the rock certain ways or not, that's only the result of the problem. The problem is how he approaches those circumstances to begin with. And brother, you got to take care of the basketball. You know what I mean? Some turnovers are decent turnovers. You're going to make certain passes. They're going to get deflected. Defensive players are going to do their job. But some of the stuff that he does is just not, he's just not taking care of the basketball. And, that's what it is. Frank Vogel's going to have to help him along the way by putting him in positions to do so and making certain types of adjustments that need to be made that I think they're going to ultimately see in film. Should already be seeing, but from where I'm sitting, it's just one of those situations where they're just trying to weather the storm of the injuries, and until we get our full roster on the floor, we're going to always be kind of just doing the best we can. And right now, the best product we have on the floor is letting Russell just go, and then allowing AD to play off of him, and everybody else, the shooters, can shoot the ball. So all of our playmakers are hurt, all of them, literally, and he's the only thing we got. So luckily enough, we were able to get a win against a very good Miami team despite all of that. Some good shooting by some good players, as we've talked about in the previous video. I wasn't too wrong about all that. No sense in recapping all of it, but just going forward, I want to see Frank Vogel try to incorporate some changes for Russell Westbrook to kind of benefit from in handling the rock, changing the pace, changing where the offense begins, maybe rotating some things so that the ball can come out of his hands in a play and maybe receive it at the end of the play for the finish. Off-ball screens, things like that take the ball and the decision-making out of his hands, but still allow him to be involved in the play. You see what I'm saying? He doesn't need to be walking the ball up. He doesn't need to be the first person making the pass in the play. He needs to be somewhere in the middle of that play. And we need to find ways of incorporating more actions like that into the mix. And that will cut down his opportunities to turn the ball over. You see what I'm saying? That's what we got to do. Somebody has a problem, you don't put them in a position to make that problem your problem. And that's what we have to do as a Laker fan, as the Laker team. So, yeah, man, it's rough, man. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you guys. I don't see too many solutions other than just letting him be himself for now, till we get everybody back. So that's that. Austin Reeves is going to be out for 2 weeks. I read somewhere, 2 weeks with his strained calf. So they weren't playing around in terms of removing the playmakers on the team from the game purposefully for the sake of maybe letting Russell run the offense by himself for a game, as I thought may be going on. No, Austin's actually really hurt, and I'm very upset to hear that, of course, because he's playing so well. He's a rookie and he's helping our team in ways that don't really show up in the box score as much. But I'm telling you, I don't even think we win some of these games if he's not a part of them. So we're going to see how we fare without him. I don't like the idea of that because he's such a helpful playmaker. Given the fact of what we've already talked about, he kind of offsets that with good decision making, good defense. Also, I know Russell Westbrook's a little later in his career in terms of wanting to take on defensive assignments and wanting to be involved a little more in defense. I know he's not a natural defensive player. I'd like to see him step it up on that side of the ball more. He's a very physical player on the offensive end. He has no problem drawing contact and hitting people on the offensive side. I'd like him to try to incorporate more energy on the defensive side. There are certain things he's not going to, he's not tracking people. He's not going to do the KCP, Ben Simmons thing. But he's so fantastic in the passing lanes. He reads passing lanes very well. He takes good chances in those situations. He has very, very active hands. I want to see him make a more concerted effort to do those things and make up for some of those turnovers on that side of the ball. There's been situations where I've seen Russell Westbrook just not give me nothing on the defensive end. Guys will score over him. He will look at him. Ain't no hands up. Ain't no positioning, nothing. He will just kind of think, okay, now let's move on and get to the offensive play. I think that mentality needs to change in order for him to put himself in a position to win a championship. I think there are certain things that we have to do in life, even in our 30s, that if we want to win in the game that we're playing, whatever it is, we're just going to have to do things that don't come naturally to us. His effort on the defensive end is needed. He has got to make himself more effective on that side of the ball for our team. Our defense sucks, and a big part of that is because he is not defensive minded. So if he can develop that, it will translate to success for us. And that's the thing. It's like, are guys ready for the sacrifices? Are guys ready to swallow their pride and look in the mirror and say, if we want to win our first championship, and we know who the players are on this team that don't have it, are we ready to dig deep and do what it is that we're not supposed to be able to do? Because that's the only way you're going to win. It's the only way you're going to win. And it's worth it. As somebody who's watched athletes win at the highest level, I can see in each and every one of their eyes, whatever it took to get it, including sitting and working hard and crying in the mirror about some stuff that you ain't never been able to change, whatever it takes, you got to get that done in order to make yourself available to be a champion. Because the stuff that we're doing is losing mentality stuff. And this man has never won a championship. I'm talking about Russell Westbrook specifically. He's never won a championship. This is why. It's because of these decisions. It ain't just about certain things that are outside of his control. A lot of it had to do with just turning the ball over and not making sound decisions and not developing the mindset that I'm talking about to effectively attack those weaknesses and not accept those weaknesses. It's very easy to attack the defense. How do you go about attacking your weaknesses? That's what I'm going to say. And that's the path to getting a championship. I watched Kobe Bryant overcome some of the worst possible obstacles, both on and off the court, to become a champion each and every time. It was harder and harder and harder, it seemed. It was a more difficult obstacle every time. And I see certain players, they have never been in those situations. They don't know what that takes, and that's okay. But when they get in those situations, they've been themselves for so long. The question I would pose to them is, are you ready to peel your skin off to be a champion? Because that's what it's going to take. It's going to be something grueling that you have to go through, to put yourself through, to be a winner for the first time. And that's what I would challenge a guy like Russell Westbrook. If you're going to continue to do things the same way, it's going to result in the same way. And that's not just for him, that's for myself, that's for anybody this stands for, anybody this applies to. If you keep doing stuff the same way, you will receive the same result. If you're not satisfied with those results, you got to find a way to change your ways. That's it. My name is BDF44. I thank y'all for watching.